All right. Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. I was experiencing a bit of a technical issue, but now that should be resolved now. So let's get right into it. All right, so today our focus is on a bit of today we are going to go a bit into details about what n8n is. We'll walk through some ways you can monetize using n8n, and then from there, today we are going to go a bit into details about what. Okay. So let's, yes, sorry about that. I've just had a bit of technical challenges trying to multi-stream on multiple platforms. But yeah, that should be sorted out now. So let's get started. So I want to talk a bit more about what n8n is, and then I would also go into details about some of the core building blocks of n8n, how you can build your first AI automation inside n8n. And then I would also talk about how you can also monetize while building AI automations. Like there are a lot of like monetization paths you can take. So let's get started first with what n8n really is. So I'm sure if you joined this live, you've probably heard about n8n, or maybe this is new to you, but maybe you've heard about what AI automation really is in general, right? So just think of n8n as like a platform and a workflow automation platform. It doesn't necessarily have to do with just AI workflows. It can be like other workflows that don't even require AI. So it's basically a workflow automation platform that helps you like connect different applications, different services together so that you can automate repetitive tasks and then move data between systems without you having to write a full block of code. Okay, so as you can see in here, this is basically the n8n canvas. This is how it looks like, and from what I mentioned earlier on, you can see that I do have like multiple apps connected. So I have the Google Chat Gemini app connected, and I have the Gmail app connected here as well. If I should click the plus button here, you'd see like a plethora of applications in here that I can basically connect to inside n8n, right? So if you have any repetitive task, or you are building you are building a business and you realize that you are doing a lot of tasks repetitively, and then that's your cue that okay, you can automate some of these tasks so that you don't have to spend several hours or several minutes in a day trying to complete these tasks. Automating those tasks will help you free up time so that you can focus on other important parts of your business like strategy, sales, and other things as well. And there are so many use cases within a business that you can automate. Okay, and I'm not saying this because I'm saying that it's just for business owners. Like if you're a professional as well, if you're a product manager, you're a project manager, you're an engineer, anybody at all can sort of like use n8n to automate their workflows, right? So it's not just a tool for business owners. It even in your personal life, right? If you find Even in your personal life, if you find that you are doing things over and over again, then maybe this is the time for you to start automating stuff. So like I mentioned, it helps you connect multiple apps. Another good thing about n8n is the fact that it's open source, right? So what this means is that you can go to GitHub and try to like develop on top of the existing code inside n8n. So if you come in here, for instance, if I should click on this, you'd see that it will take us to GitHub. And what this means is that you can basically come in here, and if you want to sort of build on top of the existing code, then you can do so as well. So it's open source, and so it means that there are a lot of developers who are working on this, and I think that is one of the advantages n8n has as support over other platforms as well. And I'm gonna compare n8n to some other automation platforms that are quite popular. Not just I'm going to compare it to other platforms that are quite popular. Hi Leon, thanks for joining. Yes, so I'm gonna show you, and I'm also going to compare n8n to other platforms that are also popular. Now the other thing about n8n as well is that you can self-host it, right? So unlike platforms like Zapier or even Make, with n8n you can self-host it, right? So you can go to GitHub, you can pull the code, and you can host it locally on your computer if you have a lot of space on there, or if you already are working in the cloud, you can also self-host it there, right? So for instance, I'm self-hosting my instance, and there's a lot of reasons why you would want to self-host your n8n instance, right? If you want a lot more control, you want to self-host it. If you are working with clients, or you are doing a lot of heavily regulated work that restricts where data is stored and all that, then you would want to self-host it as well. Not to say self-hosting it is the best thing you can do, but it really comes down to your use case, really comes down to who you're building this for and what you're building this for, right? So some of the disadvantages of self-hosting could be the fact that like you always have to make sure that you're staying on top of updates, right? If you were on the cloud version or the paid version of n8n, so if I go into the n8n website, if I go to the website and I show you like the various pricing plans, like if you were on any of these plans, then it means that everything is done for you, right? Like you don't have to worry about updates, you don't have to worry about updates, you don't have to worry about so many things. Like everything is done for you, right? If let's say there's a security issue with n8n and you're self-hosting it, then it means that you have to be in charge of making sure that you're on the latest version that is a lot more secure, right? But if you're on the cloud version, you're paying for it, then once you pay the amount, you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about all the DevOps works that happens behind the scenes, right? n8n is also very developer friendly. So if you're a software developer or you're like someone who likes to code, then you find n8n to be very flexible for you, because one, you can write code. There's a code node, so you can write code. Two, there's like if you're not a developer and you are like just getting started with like coding and all that, then it also gives you that flexibility, because it's sort of like a drag and drop nature, right? So you can basically go into the canvas based on your use case. You can just drag and drop any node you want. So that's very advantageous, I'd say, with n8n. It's good for developers, it's good for non-developers as well. So yeah, so that's it. Like in a nutshell, n8n, yes, it's open source, it's self-hostable, and it's also developer friendly as well. So you can think of it like a bridge between no code simplicity and full code power, right? And like I said, I'm going to sort of do a comparison between Zapier and Airflow, and all that, and also Make, right? And why you should use one over the other. So like I mentioned earlier on, at its core, n8n is all about nodes. They have a lot of nodes inside, and over like 2,000 nodes, a lot of nodes inside n8n, and every node inside n8n performs a specific action, right? So there's a node, like you can see this node in here is like a Gmail node, so it's responsible for performing several actions. So if I should click on it right now and I should go into the Gmail node, for instance, you can see that like there are a lot of actions that it can perform, right? So if you are building an AI powered workflow, or you're building a workflow that involves email, then you can basically select any of these actions in here, right? So you can create a label, you can delete a label, you can send emails. There are a lot of actions in here that you can basically leverage. Every node would have different actions. So for instance, if I don't want like the Gmail node, and let's say I need some other node, right? Let me say Affinity, for instance, right? You can sort of see that there are a lot of actions you can perform on here, right? I can try another node. If I come to, let's say, the Agile CRM here, you can see that there are a lot of nodes that are in here as well. And the beauty about this is the fact that you can sort of just simply drag and drop these nodes into a workflow and then connect them visually, and then n8n would sort of handle all the logic, all the data processing, all the triggers behind the scene. And the best part about all this is that if you're self-hosting it, then you're not limited by pricing tiers or any app restrictions, right? And at the end of the day, you can even build like custom nodes because it's open source, right? And you can also integrate APIs that don't even like exist yet. So that's the power about that's the power of n8n and using it as an automation platform. Now, if you have any questions, I'll just encourage you to drop the questions in the chat window, and I can answer the questions for you. If you have any questions, Dave Ann, I see you joined. If you have any questions, just drop them in the chat window and I'm gonna answer them for you. But let's move on to the next part of it. So now I want to compare n8n with Zapier. Okay, I want to compare n8n with Zapier and Make, and I'll touch a bit more as well on Apache Airflow as well, right? Since n8n became quite popular last year, a lot of people have been saying Zapier is dead, right? But I don't completely agree with that. I'm sure they still get a lot of revenues, so it's not necessarily dead. There's a use case, like depending on the type of use case you have, a tool like Zapier would fit the bill, right? It will do the thing for you perfectly. Now, Zapier is amazing for beginners, I must say. It's very easy to use, it's cloud-based, and it gives you a quick setup, right? But the thing about Zapier is that the workflows are often linear, right? Meaning that they run one step after the other, and it's harder for you to implement some form of branching or be able to handle any form of complex logic, right? Also, if you look at the pricing for Zapier, right? So if I come onto the Zapier website here, and I look at the pricing for Zapier, right, and try to compare it with the pricing for n8n, you see that the Zapier pricing can scale really quickly, right, depending on what you want to do. Now, if you want to, so this is the platform, right, for orchestrating all the various nodes. So you can see it starts from a free tier and then $19 and then $69. But then, like, if you want to start like adding things like agents, right, then you have to start paying more for it. Whereas within n8n, if you want to add things like chatbots, you need to start paying more for it, right? And you don't have like a self-hosted version, so you're just stuck to the cloud, right? But the thing with n8n is like you get all these things for the price you get, or you can self-host it and then you don't have to pay much for it, right? So in contrast, n8n would allow for branching. Like you can see, n8n would allow for branching, it would allow for looping, it would allow for some conditional logic as well, and also some form of complex data manipulation without these restrictions that you get in Zapier, right? Now, let me talk a bit about Make as well. Now, Make, on the other hand, so Make is quite interesting. So I'm going to come into the pricing plans for Make. So Make is quite interesting, right? Make is amazing as well for beginners. It's very easy to use. It's cloud-based and a quick setup, right? So again, it has a very nice visual. It gives you some form of flexible experience as well. I'll say that Make is a bit more advanced than Zapier, but then it does support data transformation and data flows through their servers as well. So that's good. If I look at the pricing here, the pay monthly pricing as well, you see what you get. So you get 100 credits a month, no code visual workflow builder. You got about 3,000 plus apps. The thing about n8n is, think of it like n8n is like you're getting kind of unlimited apps, right? Because you can connect to those apps even if there are no dedicated nodes inside n8n, right? So you can connect to those apps, and I'll show you how to do that if we have enough time in this call. You can connect other applications using their APIs, right? So that's pretty neat in my opinion. Hi Samuel, thanks for joining in. And yeah, so that makes make also like really good to use. But the thing about make as well is that it's a closed platform, right? So you're limited to what make supports. Like I said, with n8n, you can connect to any app at all, right? If the app isn't in these 3,000 plus supported applications, you can always like call them using an integrated, you can call them using an API. Provided their application has an API key, you should be fine. And so you're limited to what makes supports, and your data flows through their servers. So if you are sort of working on a use case where you don't need you need to keep data in a particular place, right? Let's say you're working for a healthcare company where it's very heavily regulated. You're working for a bank that is very regulated, and you need to keep like data in a specific place. It's sort of hard because then the data is flowing through make servers, right? Because you are not able to self-host it. But on the other hand, n8n gives you data ownership, right? So if you self-host this on your own AWS instance, you get to control your data, you get to control where it goes, who sees it, and it's a lot more convenient that way as well. Now, you can run it on your own machine, like I mentioned, with n8n on a private server or inside your own, inside your company's infrastructure, which is really a big deal when you start scaling and you start wanting to work with big clients, clients that are capable of giving you repeatable contracts and all that. Now let's talk a bit about Apache Airflow, right? So Apache Airflow sits on the other extreme, right? It's developer friendly. So if I should go to Apache Airflow, right? If I go to Apache Airflow here, right, it sits on the other extreme. It's mainly like code based and it's very technical, right? So it's a developer first orchestration platform, and it's built to scale for large scale data pipelines, right? So that is incredibly powerful, but it is also very complex. If you're someone who hasn't written a single line of code, it's a bit complex for you. And I know that like they have things like from prompts to Airflow pipeline and everything, but there's still a bit of coding involved. So if you're somebody who isn't like used to coding, then this might be a bit overwhelming for you as well. It requires Python, it's designed, and it's not really designed for everyday business automation. You need to have like really complex use cases to like go through this. So n8n sits right in the middle, right? Because you get powerful logic, you get control like Airflow, but then it gives you the visual simplicity and speed of tools like Zapier and Make, right? And inside n8n, if you want to write code, you can. So if I do the code node here, for instance, all right, if I come in here and I search for the code node, for instance, right? If you want to write code inside n8n, you can. If you're a developer and you want to achieve certain things by writing code, you can. But then again, if you want to just use the drag and drop functionality as well, then it's a huge win for you, right? So n8n is powerful. You get a powerful logic, you get a control like Airflow, but with some more visual simplicity and speed of tools like Zapier and Make. That's why you'd often see n8n being used by startups, data teams, and developers who need serious automation without them having to spin up a huge data engineering stack or team. So that's great. Now, why am I even talking about n8n? Why does it really matter, right? The honest truth is that we are in an era where AI, APIs, and cloud apps are everywhere, right? But most of these cloud applications, they don't talk to each other natively. So that's where n8n helps with the connection and the orchestration of all these things, right? It helps you connect them your own way. So if you have a specific use case, right, and you want to sort of like automate that use case, n8n gives you that flexibility you need to connect it your way, right? So it's a flexible layer, and it can definitely integrate with hundreds of tools or even your own APIs to build automations that feel tailor-made for your own workflow, right? So whether at the end of the day, whether you're automating marketing campaigns, or you're processing form submissions, or you're building internal tools, or you're creating AI agents, n8n helps you do that because it can act as an orchestrator that holds it all together for you. So if you didn't just think of it like this, right? Zapier is best if you have like quick, simple automations to build. Make is great for visual cloud-based workflows, and then Airflow is good for like heavy data pipelines. And then n8n, what the focus of this webinar is about is that it gives you developer grade control with no code accessibility, all while keeping your data in your hands. Okay, so just think of all this, like if you are trying to like decide on what tools you want to build or what tools you want to use for what sort of automation, then always remember this, that this is what you have to use if you are doing this. Like if you are using Zapier, then always remember that like if you have a use case that requires like some simple quick automation, then you want to use Zapier. If you have a use case or you want to build some form of cloud-based workflows, not like you can't do it in n8n, you can do that in n8n. And you want a really great and beautiful visual, then maybe Make is it. And if you have some complex data pipelines you want to work with, then you want to use Apache Airflow as well. But n8n is great, right? Because you get developer grade control, you get benefits of Airflow, you get no code accessibility, you get a simple drag and drop interface, right? So it's a good middle ground. I must say, and all that. Yes. Let's see if we have any questions coming in the chat. Yeah, thanks Samuel for joining. Thanks Kelly for joining. Let's see if we have anything coming in the chat here. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section below, and then I'm going to answer them as well for you. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section below and I'll answer them for you. I'm also live on TikTok as well, so if you see me cross chatting, it just means that I'm live in two places. So all right, so let's move on to the next part of this presentation, in terms of like what you can build with n8n, right? And then I'll talk a bit more about how you can make money from like building AI workflows inside n8n. But before I go there, I want to talk a bit about my upcoming AI automation lab in February. So that if you want to join that, you can join as well. So let me just quickly switch screens here. Okay, so in January in February I'm hosting an n8n automation lab. So this is gonna be like a 6-hour cohort, 6-hour session, but we're gonna do it over 3 days, and every session will be 2 hours plus some extra time if required. But as part of the sessions, the goal of the session is basically to build and ship a real AI automation inside n8n in just 3 days, right? And I get a lot of feedback from people, like they've watched all the tutorials and all that, but then it's sort of hard for them to keep up, or it's just so hard. They basically need someone to guide them. Some people have said like, this is like my goal for February, I want to get it done. So I wanted to have like a very intense 3-day session, like 3-day 2-hour session, so that like by the end of the session we're sort of like you're able to build and ship your real AI automation inside n8n. You come with your own use case. You come with your own use case, whatever automation you want to build, and then based on the learnings that you get from the cohort, you build your use case, and you build it along as we move on, right? So by the end of the cohorts, like I mentioned, you'd have like your own working version 1 of your automation in n8n that would include like a clean workflow structure, API integration, structured AI outputs, routing. Like if you're a beginner or you're someone who does not write code, like you'd see all these things and think that this must be very complicated. But trust me, I'm going to simplify it so that it doesn't seem too complicated for you. And so this is a good fit for like if you're a creator, you're a freelancer, you're a builder, you're a professional, right? And you want to automate real work, right? Or you're already experimenting with AI tools and then you want to sort of like level up into systems, or you're tired of the tutorial purgatory, like I mentioned, and you're ready to build something useful. Like I mentioned, you don't need to be like a developer or anything. You just need a willingness to build. And it's not just gonna be like a demo only workshop. It's gonna be like I mentioned, you come with your project, we kick off, we pick a project, we define the outcome, and then like day 2 we'll talk about like prompting and everything. By day 3 we should have something that has been shipped, and would have some opportunities to demo what you've shipped as well. Also, I do know that maybe this time might be too short, so like my chat will be available. Like if you have any questions during that 3-day period, like I'm gonna help you with answering them. And then about a week after, you can still send me questions and stuff like that, and I can help you. So there are a lot of like use cases and ideas you can choose from. As part of that, as part of joining the session, you're gonna get access to all my other courses that are not just related to n8n but other platforms as well. And you'd have like replays, templates, you get a prompt pack, and demo day feedback as well. So yeah, you don't need to have any complex stack. You just need your laptop. You need an n8n account. If you want to self-host it, that's fine. If you want to cloud host your n8n, that's fine. And then depending on the use case you pick, you would have you need to have APIs for those ones as well. And so if you want to join, the price is $899. But this week I'm gonna be giving a 30% discount because it's Valentine's Day. So if you go to the checkout link, you get like a 30% discount that you can apply, so that the cost of the session would be massively reduced for you. So yeah, so that's it with the upcoming cohort. So if you're interested, let me know. Samson, you have a question. Can you drop your question in the comment section? If you have a question, you can drop your questions in the comment section and then I'll respond to them as well. So Samson, if you have a question, I'm happy to answer them for you as well. So you can drop them in the comment section below and then I would answer them. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. So in this part, like I mentioned, I want to talk about like what you can build with n8n and how you can build it. Okay, so the first thing, like I've been talking a lot, or the title of this live is really like building automations, right? So the first major use case is the fact that you can build automations, right? And basically automations is just everything you've been doing already manually that you want something else to do for you, right? So think of all the manual tasks you do every day, at your work, in your business. It could be like moving data between one tool and the other. Maybe you copy data from your CRM into like an Excel spreadsheet, or sending emails or reminders all the time, or copying responses from one app to the other, right? These are things that you can basically automate inside n8n, right? So that is one common use case you can have, like basically automation, right? And with n8n, like I said, you can automate all of that, right? Because personally, I've built automations that automatically summarize emails I receive. I've built automations that prioritize my emails, draft replies. I've built automations that create and assign tasks in Notion. I've tried a lot of AI automations, trust me, and a lot of these automation, like I mentioned, are all on, like I've done lots of tutorials on this as well on my YouTube channel. So if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, and you'd be able to get access. You'll be able to watch all my tutorials and every form of automation I've created as well. So one major use case for n8n is the fact that you can basically automate every task you can think about, right? So just think about all the small repeatable workflows you have. You think that, oh, this is something small that I'm just doing, but then the honest reality is that they add up to hours. They add up to hours saved every single week, right? So that's why I say n8n is so powerful, because you can connect nearly any two services or any systems together, and then they'll handle all the repetitive work for you. So after this session, what I'll encourage you to do is like just go back, just reflect, just think about your work day or what you do in your business, and just like write it down. Like, what are the things that I do every single day, like repeatable tasks, and just think about how you can automate that, right? And then see how you can use n8n to do that as well. Now, the other use case for n8n is APIs, right? And I can touch on APIs in two different ways, right? So you can build a workflow in n8n and make it an API, right? And turn it into an API to like another application. So for instance, one of my recent YouTube tutorials, if I should just drag this here and explain what I mean. So for instance, one of my recent tutorials on YouTube, if I should come here, right, this exact tutorial here, right, build SaaS apps for free using n8n, like these two tutorials, I sort of implemented how you can sort of use n8n as an API for your front-end application, right? So I'd encourage you to sort of like watch these two tutorials if you haven't, to have an idea of how you can use n8n as an API. Now, the other how you can use your AI workflow or your AI automation as an API. Okay, so Samson, you're trying to build an AI personal assistant. Okay, so what is the question in there? Like, are you deciding on what tools to use, how to build it? What is the question in there? Because within, like, everybody would have like a different way of building their own AI personal assistant based on whatever processes they have in their workflow, right? So let me know what the exact question is, and then I'll try to answer it for you. If you are trying to decide on whether you should use n8n or whether you should use Cloud Code or whether you should use some other tool, just let me know what the exact question is, and I'll gladly answer that for you as well. Okay, so the second use case, like I mentioned with n8n, is the fact that you can use n8n, like you can build an API, you can build an AI automation and make it an API inside n8n. Now, the other use case within the API realm as well is that you can sort of also connect other applications. Just a moment here. Let me know if you can still see my screen. Hi Zena, thanks for joining. Okay, yes. So the other use case as well in the realm of APIs is the fact that you can connect to other tools, right? Other applications. So in this simple automation you see here, I've connected Gemini, right? And in order for you to connect to Gemini, you need to have an API key, right? So that is the second use case within use case you can use within APIs. You need to have an API key. Provided provided the application has an API, you should be able to connect to it in n8n. So for instance, I was recently building a workflow, right? I was recently building a workflow. So if I come back here and I'm trying to find the exact workflow, this one, right? So I was building this exact workflow that sort of sends motivational messages to your inbox every single day at 9 a.m. And it sends the message through an AI avatar. And so I was trying to use a platform called Tavos, and there wasn't any dedicated node inside n8n, right? So there was no dedicated node inside n8n. If I come in here and I search for Tavos, for instance, there was no dedicated node inside n8n. So the way I was able to connect to it was by using this HTTP request node. And by doing that, I was basically able to like connect to Tavos. So that is the other benefit of n8n. Like I said, another use case you can think about is the fact that if you don't, like, even if the tool does not have a dedicated node inside n8n, you can still connect to it and you can still use it, right? Inside n8n, you can do all your connections and orchestration in there. So essentially, n8n acts like a universal adapter, right? If as long as a platform has an API, you can plug it right in. And since you can self-host your own n8n instance, you don't have to worry about exposing sensitive keys or sending data through third-party servers, because all that is being catered for you if you self-host. Now let's talk a bit about AI workflows, right? So if you build an automation or you build a workflow inside n8n and you've not connected any form of AI to it, then it's just a simple workflow, right? But then now it gets exciting when you sort of like connect AI to it. So from this automation you see in here, I have like the chat model connected. It means that I've added like Gemini, the Gemini AI assistant to it. So now this makes it an AI workflow, right? So n8n makes it very easy to build flows that will combine automation with AI reasoning, right? So for example, like this one here, this workflow you see in here, this motivational quotes you see here, everything is being generated using Gemini, right? Just like you go into Gemini and you prompt it, can you generate like a motivational quote for me? You, instead of doing that in Gemini, you can just create an automation for it, and every morning it's going to do that for you. I mean, let me make this sound even a lot more real for you. Like, you own a business, right? And every day you want to send a newsletter to your customers. You can basically automate it in here. And I'm not saying that you should just let Gemini generate the newsletter from scratch all the time, but you can just let Gemini generate a couple of them for you, and then you get it to store it in, let's say, Google document somewhere, where you can just always go and like read it out and make some edits here and there, because like it makes it a lot more easier. And if you want to do this every single day yourself, it will take you a lot of time to like sit down, ideate and all that, right? So you can basically just have an automation that is basically generating the newsletters, formatting it for you, and then, or you can just get it to generate it. You can do the formatting and then post it to like whatever platform you want. Like, all these things are things that you can do inside n8n, right? All these things are things you can do inside n8n. And people will say that, but Stephanie, like, if you're getting AI to do this for you, then what do you do? Like, you're saving yourself time to focus on other things in your business, right? Or maybe you're saving yourself time to just get enough rest, and that's fine, right? And that's fine. Okay, so Samson, I see your question. My sub workflow execution node is not updating to my request email AI agent. Okay, so are you tagging it properly? Because like when you use like a sub workflow execution node, you need to tag when you are building the workflow that sort of is calling this sub workflow. You need to make sure that you're tagging it properly. I would have to see the exact automation in there to be able to like fully understand and respond to this. But if you are tagging it properly, then I don't see why it shouldn't work. I'll need a bit more context for sure. I hope that answers your question. Try and tag it properly and see if you still have the same issue, but then I'll need a bit more context. Now, the other thing is also like you can join my school community as well. My school community, I'll drop the link in the comment section, but really you can join my school community as well. It's free to join. So let me just show that, because questions like this you can just ask in the school community as well. So this is my school community. So you can join my school community. This is the link. It's free to join, but then you can also join my membership. Like if you join my membership, you get access to my courses. Like I mentioned, my courses are not just on n8n. I have courses on different things as well. So if you join my paid membership, then you get access to all of that as well. So that is my community. You go to school and then you look for this AI tool, that's that, and you have access to my community. I'm going to drop the link in the comments as well so that it's easy for you to join. I'm going to drop that along with the YouTube channel on TikTok if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel. So this is my school community. So something you can join and paste your question in there. And then this is my YouTube channel, which I'm going to share shortly as well. Okay, so let's move on back. Let me just share my YouTube channel so that on TikTok, if you're not subscribed. Okay. All right, so let's come back to the other use case. I want to finish with this use case and then I move on to talking about how you can monetize with n8n, because I see that we have just 10 minutes left. So the other use case within n8n is like you can go a level beyond workflows. So you can go a level beyond the workflows and now build AI agents. So AI agents are basically a workflow that can make a decision, perform actions, and then interact with users on its own, right? So if I wanted to put this, make an AI agent out of this, like you don't need to have like multiple steps, right? I'm sure you've seen like some very complex AI automations, right? So this AI automation you see here, for instance, right? Very, very complex. So this is an AI workflow, very classic. It has a lot of steps in there, right? But you can build an AI agent. You don't need to have all these steps. You give it all the instructions inside that AI agent to do that, right? Of course, if you want reliability, you're better off like defining the steps in here, right? Because if you want to give all the steps to just one AI agent node to do for you, like they will just do it the way they want to. Like if you want to follow like specific steps, then it's better to build an AI workflow as opposed to building an AI agent and giving it just those instructions in just like one single node, right? So this is an example of an AI workflow. If I had shown you something that was just like quite simple, just like one node, and turned all these steps in here into an instruction in that one single node, then that would be like an AI agent of some sort, right? So these are more like interactive assistants, and I would say that when you're building AI agents, I'll tread carefully, especially because responses from AI isn't really always the same. Like they are not deterministic responses. Like you can't really guarantee what you get, right? Even if you go into ChatGPT right now and you type in the same questions all the time, you're not going to get the same answers all the time, right? So that's why it's quite dangerous to just give very critical steps to just an AI agent to handle for you, right? But then the good thing about AI agents is like AI agents could be voice agents, they could be chat agents, they can listen, they can process, they can decide, and they can respond, all orchestrated inside n8n. So that's the power of combining AI models, APIs, and automations inside one platform. So now that I've talked a bit about the use cases for n8n, I'm going to talk a bit about how you can sort of like make money from n8n, from how you can make money from building AI automations inside n8n, right? So there are different ways in which you can monetize, right? So one way is to do some form of freelancing and consulting. And if you go to Upwork and Fiverr, there are a lot of gigs in there. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy to get one, but then like if you are well optimized, like you setting the right proposals and the right pricing and everything, then you are able to like get some gigs like that. If you go on LinkedIn, you go on Twitter, like you create a website, you market your services, that you build AI automations, AI content pipelines and all that. There's a way to make money that way as well, right? So I'll say that if you want to start making money from n8n, this is like one of the fastest way. You build a simple automation for people and then you charge them money for it, right? So you can start on Upwork or Fiverr. When you go there, just search for Zapier Make or automation or n8n, and you'll find clients that are asking for exactly what n8n can do, and then you can submit a proposal, you can submit a bid. Now, the other way you can make money from n8n is also starting like an automation agency. So this moves you a step away from being a freelancer or a consultant to like having your own agency where you'd build like done for you automations for small business owners, retainer models, packaging. Like let me know if you want you want to know like in detail like how you can find your first client and all that. But once you've built a few workflows and have some happy clients, then you can transition into an agency model, right? But some people just start and they want to like move and start an agency and everything. If you do that, like it's a recipe for failure. Like you can easily crash, right? Because you need to first start building it before you can sort of progress into like starting an agency and all that. Okay, so the other way in which you can make money is you can also like, I find that this is the stress-free way, and this is one of the easiest way you can do so. Is I feel like it's stress-free and it's also passive in a way. So you can also start like a template marketplace, so you can sell n8n templates. So for instance, this is an example of a template marketplace, right? So let me show you this. You can basically go to a platform like Ko-Fi or Gumroad, or even your own website, and then basically what you have to do is you can just upload templates, right? So all what you see here are templates, so you can upload templates in here, and maybe you can upload a tutorial to go with these templates, and then you fix a price for it. This is passive because when someone like once you upload the template in here, you don't have to think about it again. Like you don't have to go and improve upon it. People will just come and download the template and pay you. So I find that this is a really passive way to sort of like make money using n8n, right? It's passive to make money using n8n, and you can, like for instance, like I said, like you just basically upload a template. If you have a tutorial to go with it, you can basically upload a tutorial to go with it, and then you charge a small fee, right? And then you are good to go. So that is one other way to make money from n8n. If you're thinking like, why should I learn this? Like know that like if you learn this, you can make real money from it. And then I want to talk about the last way you can make money from n8n. You can also like within your company, you can start like automating stuff for your company. And once you start automating stuff and you start seeing a return on all the automations, a return on the investments and everything, like your company would probably give you a promotion, or they can make you in charge of, maybe they can even create like a new role just for you, right? Because at the end of the day, every company cares about the bottom line, right? So if you're able to show them that doing this would save them money and everything, and you're just the only person with this skill, then like you become the go-to person, and that can even help you with like getting promoted and everything. So yeah, if you were looking for why do I learn this, or why should I even care about building AI automations, then this is your answer, right? You can make some real money doing so. And so I want to challenge you today. With everything you've heard today, I want to challenge you, build your first workflow today. If you are not subscribed to my channel, you can go to my channel, a lot of content there. And all the content I have about n8n, if you go into my school community, you'd have access to the templates as well. And you can download the templates from my school community. I don't charge for the templates, so you can download them for free. And also, if you're interested in joining the 3-day workshop, like I mentioned, for the whole of this week, you're going to get 30% off if you sign up. So again, I am going to leave the link to that in the comments, or it's going to be on my website or on my YouTube channel. Like, you'd see the link to that as well, and then you can join as well. But yeah, thank you all for joining this live stream. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll probably go live again next week Saturday or the following week. But then if I'm gonna go live, I'm gonna schedule it. All right, see you all next time.